Welcome to Providence, Rhode Island. It's the Friars who hung a Big East regular season banner here on Tuesday night. Get the first bucket of the night with Noah Locke, Will Fleming, Donnie Marshall. New faces galore all over the place for both these teams.
Yeah, really. For Northeastern, 6 freshmen. Haven't had that in a while. Coach Cohen is going to be some growing pains, but you have a team on the other side in Providence who, again, this is the reality of college basketball. You know, the portal is in control of everything.
8 new faces. There's a familiar name. Jared Bynum misses his first shot. 6 freshmen for Northeastern. They go over the top into the post for one of their key returners, Chris Doherty. And Providence doing what they couldn't do in the first half the other night against Rider, much to the chagrin of Ed Cooley. Much better defense to start.
I asked Ed before last game, what's going to come first? He said the offense. And a lot of times you hear defense because guys have just been grinding their way through practices. But you saw it. You can score, you can play one-on-one. It's hard to get 5 guys in the gym and say, okay, let's play some defense. And for Providence, that's their staple.
That is non-negotiable for Ed Cooley.
Absolutely right.
Here is Hopkins. He is so dynamic. This is his first look.
He's just bouncy. He's got great size, strength. You can tell he has wonderful feel, knows where to be on the floor, sticks his nose in to rebound.
We have not had many like him. As great as this program has been, as Bynum gives him a lead.
Yeah, Jared Bynum's still the guy. He understands who he is, what he's been through, the players he's played with. Transfer himself a few years back, so he was a great piece to kind of connect the past to the future.
I do think that is the #1 question for Ed Cooley and this Providence team. Gone Durham, Reeves, Minaya, Watson, particularly Durham late in games. Who's going to close it out for these Friars?
It's a big question. It's almost like having a star leave, and then the next year guys have kind of, they put their time in and they think it's them, but it's going to have to happen collectively, and Ed Cooley will tell his guys that.
And there is one of Ed Cooley's literally best friends, not just in this business, but anywhere, Bill Cohen, in his 17th season.
Yeah, just a terrific guy, obviously an awesome coach, but he said, listen, I'm not going to the portal. I just think, you have some guys who are undervalued coming out of high school and really forgotten about. He went that way.
I think it's a really interesting contrast because Providence turns it over here. They feel like they are going to really benefit from the new rules with the portal. And I think Bill Cohen might be on to something, that not looking for the new shiny object in a transfer way. Maybe there's some freshmen coming in that you can get and really help you.
Yeah, the risk is that you can't develop guys if they don't stay long enough. There's a couple of my keys for tonight's game. For Providence, you got to start early. They got into a little bit of a hole against Rider, so put your foot in the gas early, get the crowd into it. Where's the ball going to go? It's got to flow offensively. Northeastern, listen, you can try to run, you pick your spots, but when you pick those spots, you got to be smart and move the basketball. Switch sides of the floor. Talked about the struggles defensively for Providence. You have to make them defend you.
And they turn it over. Noah Locke is here from Florida and Louisville. They think he can really open up this offense, especially from the three-point line.
He's a big-time player. He's got all the shots. For a guy that's, not 6'8", he's got some strength. He's stout. Plays with a confidence.
And McClintock rejection for Croswell, who was so big in the win over Rider.
He's another guy you have to mention in terms of continuity for Providence at both ends of the floor. Ed Croswell, he can gum things up. Great help defense there, and that just inspires you to play even better defense across the board.
Going to travel on Chris Doherty.
I still believe, even though there are some struggles in that first game defensively for Providence, Northeastern's not going to beat them with one-on-one basketball. If you got to move in the post, it's got to be a bang-bang. One dribble, spin move. But that ball has to move. Anytime you're playing against a team who's not sure where they're supposed to be yet defensively, you have to make them move.
Northeastern's a program that's got a history of such great guard play, and they had very little consistency there last year. Almost a turnover. Clifton Moore top of the key, setting a screen for Bynum, one of 3 grad students on this Providence roster. There's Locke. That's a big-time move down the lane. Fouled trying to throw it down.
You can just see his confidence, the way he moves, his body movements, but not only that, how he moves without the ball, the explosiveness. He's one of I think, the least talked about guys when you talk about transfers, getting guys out of the portal. It's special. I mean, that's how you finish. That's a veteran finishing at the rim. He wasn't thinking twice about the contact or avoiding it.
We're going to talk a lot about Ed Cooley tonight, who has just done a masterful job building this program. His honesty and his relationships with his players, really the key to everything. And Locke is an example. So is Hopkins. He didn't get them the first round, or even in Locke's case, the second round when he went to Louisville, but he stayed in touch. And now these kids, in some way, they come home to Ed Cooley.
You have to be resilient, and these young men understand, and they feel the people who are rooting for them. They feel the guys, the coaches that really care about them. You know, you can't be a bitter coach in today's college basketball game when you lose a guy.
Full court pressure. The Huskies break it. There's a bit more ball movement from the Huskies. Some reluctance to pull the trigger. Telfort is not shy. In the paint. No. And Castro hauls it in.
That's a good move by Jamil Telfort, though. I like it. He's the one guy I think you can allow to kind of go get his own buckets.
Moore turned away.
Yeah, he was trying to pass that. Clifton Moore has to get in there and get that shoulder into somebody, go up strong. You can't be a passer from 4 feet away.
That might be about the fastest Northeastern takes it into the front court all night. Stuka, they just don't have it early. Am I crazy, Donnie? Northeastern is passing up some good shots early in this game.
Yeah, these are difficult games. It's early, even when we talked about it.
Green for 3.
That's 6 new players on your team. You're just trying to figure out guys' movements, where they like to go, their tendencies. Sometimes it leads to some hesitation on offense.
They do look like they're just a little uncertain. There's a corner 3 that falls for Coleman Stuka.
Yeah, Stuka's the guy, scored a first bucket of the game. He's another guy you have to, in Providence, you got to find him, especially in those short corners.
Rafael Castro, redshirt freshman. Not hard to understand why his teammates call him Slim. Find him the 6th man of the year in the Big East a year ago. Top of the 3 key for Moore.
He's got that. He knocked one down after missing, took back-to-back 3s against Ryder. Missed the first one and got the next one back a second later and made it.
Answer for Northeastern. At shoot-around today, I was watching Moore. He's known as a shot blocker. He has got a really smooth stroke. Bynum rejected, but contact on the body.
Yeah, the equalizers talk about paint points in transition, but you got to guard that 3-point line. Knocking one down there. And then you got to find those short corners. Stuka! Got a good one here, folks. Don't go anywhere.
An early 4-point lead for the Providence Friars. Northeastern is in the building tonight. One of the themes, the realities of college basketball these days, turnover. But from their Sweet 16 team, Donnie, not many teams in the whole country lost more than Providence did.
It's such a difficult time to be a college coach. It really is, because the players now have the power. At least one time when they transfer once, but yeah. It's hard to keep your culture going. You see the breakdown there in the class, and Ed likes those guys at the bottom. The 3 grads, the 1 senior, the 1 junior, and remember last year at one point he's playing 7 either seniors or grad students. So he likes the old guys because Old guys win. They know how to win. But different animal we're dealing with nowadays.
Don't you think it puts much more emphasis on the off season? All these new faces, you got to get these guys comfortable off the floor just like they are on.
Yeah, you see a lot of teams, taking trips too, even mid-season. Northeastern's got a trip coming up abroad. A lot of these teams are going overseas to try to get their guys more acclimated to one another, traveling together, and obviously playing basketball against some good competition. But it's really about getting to know one another off the floor, as imperative as it is to learn about one another on the floor.
They'll be in London for Thanksgiving.
And some good teams: Manhattan, Army, Princeton. They're playing an eclectic mix of teams.
One of those newcomers, Jaden Pierre, wearing number 1 in white, is into the ball game for Ed Cooley. They think the world of him. Oh, what another rejection. I think it was more to swat it into the first row.
I just wonder if Ed Cooley is breaking out into hives because he has a freshman on the floor. That's what I want to know. This is a great job. We've seen this already once. Croswell came over and helped. That time more.
Stuka is hot to start. They want to look at the shot clock. That's 8 already if the bucket stands, which I think it will.
Just look at that.
Yep.
It's pretty good. Looked good. He thought it was good, but all shooters think it's good, no matter what, even if it was late.
Inbound with 1 second on the shot clock. That drives Ed Cooley nuts.
Yeah, ball pressure, so important. And that's, again, the other part of learning who's going to score and when and how often is the communication. That's sometimes the hardest part. And that's a great situation, a great learning, just a great time to understand. We can use this as a learning tool. 1 second, you got to have some ball pressure. Somebody's about to be yelling to you. Hands up, hands up.
And a travel on Reed. Stuka is a guy who 2 years ago was a really good perimeter shooter for Northeastern. Again, they had so little consistent guard play. His shooting, like so many others on their team, really suffered. Looks like in a better groove here to start.
Yeah, when you have a guy like Telford who can score the ball, Troutman who's confident, who you have to respect, it opens up that perimeter for guys like Stuka.
He tried it from the corner again. Here's Jaden Pierre. Freshman from New Jersey. Ball dominant point guard is Bynum. There's Hopkins into the lane, put back, and a foul.
Just so much power. Only played 6 minutes a game last year, but he comes in with just a confidence and a belief. Look at this, is just a wonderful move. 2-foot jump stop, switches to the offhand, goes right back up. Quick jump, can't get it to fall. This is a part of the game where Providence has to really focus. Got to that foul line 43 times on Tuesday against Ryder. Only made 26 of them. So in games, look, we don't think about it early in the season, but the free throw line is so important because if you don't make them early, now you have no confidence to be able to make them late.
Hopkins makes the back end. Ed Cooley said something interesting about Hopkins. He goes to Kentucky, he doesn't get the minutes or the production that he thought he would, and Ed thinks that it's really important to build that young man's confidence back up here on campus.
It's always a work in progress, not just, we think about basketball, they got to make a hoop, you got to make your free throws, you got to be a good teammate, but there's so much more to these kids' lives than what's happening on your TV screens, your monitors, your phones, your tablets. These guys are more than just running up and down the floor.
Contact, and Croswell goes down, reaching for his left hand, and off the ball foul. Ed Cooley is a master communicator, and it is easy to see. Look, in 7.5 minutes, you can see that Hopkins is the most talented player on the floor.
And now it's just a matter of, talking to Bryce a little bit of him believing that. It's always a tough thing for for some kids, especially when they transfer, for them to realize how good they are.
Bynum really had a rough night from the floor Tuesday against Ryder, 1 for 9. Floyd playing for the first time there. He is again, and they just have no answer.
He's just so powerful. He doesn't waste any time playing around with the basketball down low. I mean, just keep an eye on his feet. Seals, catches, doesn't play around with it, spins. I mean, it's just...
Did you have that move?
How this kid, I'm sure at some point, that's because I had teammates who would not move from the three-point line, so I had to. It's the only chance I had. Catch it down low, make a good move, but it's hard to believe this kid only averaged 6 minutes a game last year. It just blows my mind.
Right. I mean, do they have that many great players?
Well, I mean, and again, we haven't even scratched the surface of really seeing how good he can be. And I know people are going to ask, well, how much did he score in the first game? What's he averaging? And what we see in shoot-arounds and in practices are kind of what the coaches see. They see the potential and the ability that he already has. It just has to be put into the right position.
Providence is missing free throws again. I mean, they're 3 for 7. And it's such a huge part of everything they do.
And it really is. They had 43 attempts on Tuesday against Ryder. They had 50 field goal attempts in that same game. So it's just, it shows you how important it is to make your free throws.
Well, not only do they get to the free throw line so often, they don't really foul defensively. They pride themselves on having a real edge in that area. Chase Cormier, and that is a block in the restricted area for Croswell. Cormier is one of these youngsters they're bringing in to try to answer the question of who will play point guard. He'll be at the line when we come back. Friars by 4. Welcome back to FS2 College Hoops, sponsored by G. There's only one, and we get to go in the huddle with Bill Cohen and the Northeastern Huskies.
Make sure everybody's on the same page. Every opportunity you guys get to huddle up, stay together, all right? 2 feet on takeoffs, all right? And let's make sure you're trusting yourself, trusting your teammates, and playing hard. Let's go. Let's go.
Love that. It's just something you need to remind guys, especially when you have newcomers. You know, stay together, huddle up, talk, communicate.
He really has been a great coach at Northeastern, and uncharted territory last year. I mean, they went 2-16 in the league, their worst record in 15 years. So many injuries, and they're hoping these new faces can turn that around.
You really have to be a great salesman, too. You always had to be, but especially now. How do you convince guys to stay? How do you convince them that 10 minutes a game is good for you now, but next year it's going to be 20? It's just, you have to sell it.
Strong take by Bynum. That's when he's at his best. I think Providence can benefit from the portal, attract kids here at a place like Northeastern as Pierre rips it away. And a slam on the break.
Well, that's how you stay on the floor as a young player. For Ed Cooley, activity, defensively, hands, and then the strong finish.
You got less hives now with a freshman on the floor.
Feels a little bit better.
But I think Northeastern and so many schools like it are going to have to recruit their own players who are in the program.
Yeah, it's unprecedented. It really is. You got to just convince guys this is the place for you.
King, the freshman, turns it over, and a travel on Corey Floyd Jr., the UConn transfer.
Well, we talked about Ed Cooley having hives playing a freshman. This is better than any topical you could put on. The steal, the finish at the other end. Look at that, emphatic.
I mean, there are people around this program. It sounds ridiculous. They had their best year in 25 seasons last year. There are some who think this group might be more talented than the team they had last year.
I agree. I'm one of those people. But sometimes talent doesn't always win you games. You know, it's how you put the talent together, and Ed knows that. We talked this summer about it. a few times. Okay, yeah, we're going to have some really good pieces, but it's all about who puts that quote-unquote team together the soonest, the quickest.
Noah Locke back on the floor. Floyd Jr. just did not play at UConn a year ago. Here he is in the lane, gets it batted away by Glenn McClintock. And then Floyd turns it over on the baseline.
Yeah, got to have those hands ready. It's hard when you redshirt. You redshirt, and not because you're injured, but just because it's a numbers game. And so he essentially, obviously, is a freshman, even though he had some experience. Was on a team that went to the tournament, and that's, again, Ed Cooley telling a young player, look, you got to have your hands ready. That's just simple basketball.
They love the kid who checked in for him, Devin Carter. He leads the press from South Carolina. Transfer, and the press gets the turnover. Croswell had to get it back. Locke had his three blocked, and there he is under the bucket. Carter to put it back.
Already just seeing him play, coming into Providence, already loved him as a player, but one of my favorites already in all of college basketball, Devin Carter.
Anthony, his father, 13 years in the league, and he is a special defensive player. Really matches the profile of this team. We saw Croswell a little bit earlier in this game go down, grabbing at his left hand. That does not look good. A lot of pain on the bench.
Yeah, you're right. He hit the floor earlier and got up and played through it, and now he's holding on to that the left hand.
Pierre was trying to go up top for more, only get a foul on the floor. You wonder whether going back and forth in that press breaker, whether he kind of re-aggravated it. Contact there. That's already the 7th foul on Northeastern. He clearly felt something right there. So 1-1 for Moore at Providence. He's going to the locker room.
You hate to see that early in the season, at least. There's early rather than late. He's going to miss some time, but we've seen that around basketball. Guys get hurt early. It gives other guys an opportunity to step in and get some valuable minutes.
Moore already with 4. Make it 5. It's crazy. Moore started his career at Indiana, then a couple years at LaSalle, Locke, Louisville, Florida. I mean, it's more like the norm.
Yeah.
Good pressure. Clintock. Corner for Woods. His turnaround floater does not go. Northeastern hangs on. And McClintock is an Air Force transfer. Now Masai Troutman, the freshman, he's bumped on his way to the hole.
Masai Troutman has another one of those great energy guys. Puts it down, has his mind made up. Considered Florida, Indiana, Georgetown. He's got some game. I mean, he knows who he is. He's a nice little piece for Coach Cohen.
As he plays above the rim. That was a really quick first step.
Yeah.
This is the first free throw. That makes the second.
Nice rotation on that second shot.
Jaden Pierre running the offense without Bynum on the floor, and he stepped on the sideline.
I don't know how many times a game that happens. It's just, it happens 2 or 3 times a game every single night you watch a game. Like, you know where the sideline is. You know, you practice on it every day, but it continues to happen. Guys not knowing where they are on that sideline, it's a killer. I mean, how much wider does the floor have to be? Seriously.
You would think you got that sort of subconscious sense of where it is. Another corner, wide open look for Stuka, but this time too strong.
You have to make those pay off, too, and especially in a tight game. You're not going to get a lot of those opportunities against Providence.
What a feed from Locke to Carter.
Hey, we talk about his defense, Devin Carter, and he's just relentless. He's everywhere. He understands how to see that next pass coming. But on the offensive end, it's got something I don't think a lot of people expected. He's in the right place, right time, strong finish. The Friars holding on to a little bit of a lead here over Northeastern.
Tomorrow on Fox, an NFL doubleheader starts with the Vikings taking on the Bills. Then it's one of the games of the year as historic rivals take center stage when Dak leads the Cowboys against Rodgers and the Packers in a showdown for the ages at Lambeau, all on Fox and the Fox Sports app. We'll be waiting to see whether Josh Allen is going to play in that game, and when will Aaron Rodgers and the Packers turn it on? Seems like we ask that every week.
Maybe they won't. There's some Patriots fans locally that couldn't care less about Aaron Rodgers.
You got that right. We are in the heart of that. Trying to make it a three-point play, and he does. He is really flashing early in this game in a 7-1 Friar run.
It's just activity. There's always room on the floor for a guy like Devin Carter at both ends of the floor. You don't have to run anything for him on the offensive end. He has a nose for the plays and the ball, and defensive end, just feel.
Goes out for more. Telfort distracted, and here he is again. And he is a flash in the open court. Pierre can't get the putback to go.
Might have been looking for some contact, but he is as fast as they come.
Three for Turner. He's pretty fired up about that. Jared Turner cuts it to 7.
You let a team that's well coached hang around. You know, Friars fans saw this on Tuesday against Ryder.
These are mostly the starters, although Moore is in for Croswell as Hopkins. Big bump, no call, and he misses the bunny.
I like the no call, especially with the new rule of no warning on a flop. That's going to put refs in a tough spot.
Heat check will not go down.
But I like the no call. I think we'll see more no calls this year on those type of plays than we have in the past. And just take a look, because it puts so much pressure on the officials. And this is a good offensive play, good defensive play. Just not enough to call either way. I like that. Look, you're taught every day in practice to take a charge, give your body up, and then when you get on the floor and it's a ref making a subjective call because they think you flopped, when no, those are the charges we take every day. And now you get a technical, one free throw. We're coming now. It's a tough spot to be in for the officials.
He's also outweighed by about 40 pounds there in the post.
So that's another piece of it that the officials have to take into account.
Reed is running the show now. Bynum back into the game. That's a lot of contact. Hopkins brings it down and gets it stripped. It's a pretty athletic save by Telfort.
Yeah.
Go down 7, Northeastern. A little something going.
The pace, I think, is favoring them right now, and they have some confidence. The turnover
turns it over. And the Friars have numbers. Bynum for 3. And too strong now. The other way, here comes Turner. And it's a 5-point game.
It was snowbirding, cherry picking a little bit down there. Didn't get back across half court. But it was a bang-bang play. It was fast. Long rebounds will lead to those long lead passes to the other end.
You think Ed Cooley's probably good with that transition 3 from Bynum, right?
For Bynum, yes. I would agree with that.
Not gotten it going shooting-wise. Hopkins down the baseline, and it looked to me like Waga grabbed and held on to the rim before he blocked that shot.
A little basket interference there. I'd love to see Bryce Hopkins and just run 3 plays in a row for him. You know, have his teammates run something for him. This is just something that he makes happen right here for himself, just to rip through to the baseline. Keeps playing through it.
It'd be a lot easier to block shots if you could hold on to the rim when you're trying to do it.
Without question. And dunk, too, the other end.
And the 5-minute mark in this opening half. Good job so far has Providence on Telford. There he goes with a turnaround left-hander.
He's the guy. He's got to get it going. 26-9 in 36 minutes. Against BU, and he's the guy. You got young guys around you. He's got to, especially in this environment.
Yep. All CAA second team preseason pick. Moore with 2 hands. He's got 7.
It's a great job by Moore keeping his spacing. Reed turns that corner, allows him to deliver it.
Turner in the corner, but inside the line. He is not shy. Pull the trigger is Turner.
Got a nice looking stroke, too.
He threads the needle, and he is rejected from behind. Alan Metcalf. Teardrop, no. Metcalf tried to follow. Whack off the glass.
A little playground move right there. Off the same foot. Just consistency is all that Providence is looking for right now. You know, putting 2 or 3 plays together. They get a stop. They make a basket. Now they have to try to do it again here.
Backcourt violation. I'll tell you what, Metcalf has given him some energy off the bench.
Yeah, this is just an awesome job. Moore staying away, receiving the pass, finishing strong, using that length. Then lock. Oh, playground. Woo. Good one here.
Providence leading by 7, hosting Northeastern, who just comes down I-95 into the capital city of Rhode Island for a little New England battle. And they're right around the corner from Fenway Park. And these two head coaches, Donnie, they go way, way back, and they are really, really great friends.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to see. Actually, Bill Cohen interviewed Eddie for his first job. That was a long time ago in 1997, so he really has Bill Cohen to thank for where he is, and he understands that.
He said he hates to play this game.
Yeah,
they haven't done it since 2010.
Yeah.
And literally in July of 1997, Ed went up to Boston College to join Al Skinner's staff, and it was Bill who interviewed him.
Yeah.
Ed remembers the exact sandwich shop they went to, what he ordered, how nervous he was, and he says he owes the world. They talk most every day. Providence trying to close this half. Flourish. Out of the starters out there. Still no word on Ed Croswell. Locke misses the 3. What a put back by Hopkins. He is so active.
He really is. Explosive. So strong. Keeps his head in the game.
All away from the ball.
It looks like we had a wet spot on the floor that Hopkins slipped on the way back.
We noticed during the break they were trying to mop that up. So I think one of the officials was having a drink in the break and spilled a little bit, so they got to get that cleaned up. Yes, it's Croswell left. Providence has actually padded their lead. And there's Hopkins going down. That's scary.
Yeah, that's how a groin goes, or a hamstring. Those are. And it's cold in this building. Ooh. And you're playing on top of ice.
I forget that every time I come here. I mean,
you do? It's freezing in here. How can you forget that?
You see,
oh my gosh!
You did this right. You got like 7 layers
yes,
on.
That's
Shirts,
what you do.
Sweaters, jackets.
Yeah.
You also can tie a tie in a way that is about 800 times cooler than mine.
I'd rather be lucky than good. It takes me about 10 tries.
It doesn't look like it.
No.
Well, hopefully the floor is handled here. There is Bill Cohen.
That's a scary thing to have to deal with too as a player when you know a spot is wet and then they've gone over it a few times.
You know what I'm glad we've gone away from is a lot of these big sticker logos on the floor. It seems like every time of these tournaments you see guys.
You're so right. Safety is obviously the most important thing for these guys.
This has been their best offensive player. That's some real movement in the paint, but not against Hopkins.
That's the next part of Bryce Hopkins' game is that on the defensive end, you saw a little bit of it there. I can move his feet, the activity, and obviously has the body strength to do it.
A little backdoor cut and a dish to Hopkins. Looked like Bynum had a shot that he passed up.
Yeah, I get it though. You want Hopkins to feel like he's the guy. Go to him.
Corner three for Cormier. What a swing that is.
Hey, and it's Northeastern's not going away. We talk about this a lot. You know, when ignorance is bliss, you got young guys who are helping out, especially Telfort not going off just yet. Other guys stepping up, and they're well coached.
I think what you said about Bynum and Hopkins is so true. A little floater for Locke. You can understand the veteran floor general trying to get his young guy involved. That's quick in transition to Troutman. That's a whole lot of contact, and they'll get Locke with a foul on the floor before the shot goes up.
Well, Locke is one of those guys as well that not lacking in confidence, but has to be another one of those feature guys for Ed Cooley. And you know, these games obviously are important. They're not just trying to, you know, play teams that they can beat, especially here in Providence. We see that around the country, but Eddie he cares about who he plays because he knows certain teams are going to help his guys understand who they are as a team. And they're getting challenged right now.
Into the post. It's a finish for Waga. Clifton Moore with his long wingspan just not there in time.
But these games help guys figure out and help Providence's staff figure out what they have and which guys they can count on and which points in the game can we go to a guy.
Moore is having a big first half, and that continues. He's got 9. He swats that one away, but not before contact and a foul on Troutman. Coming up, the Jeep halftime report. Got the Gavitt Games preview with Bill Raftery, Jim Jackson, Casey Jacobson, and Mike Hill from the Los Angeles studios. First half stats and analysis. Some good matchups in those Gavitt games.
Yeah. 2 great conferences.
Everything wraps a part of I'm watching.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's emotional too because we talk about the stickers on the floor. At least in this building, we see Dave Gavitt court. When we have the Gavitt Games, that's what it's about. The guy who created this, the Big East Conference, and it's so much for the game of basketball at the college level and Olympics as well.
He built it from the ground up.
I mean, had his hand on a lot. It's so important to so many people. They don't even realize it.
Bynum feeds Castro. He'll go to the line.
My favorite part of the Gavitt Games, obviously the games, but seeing all the old films and pictures of the early Big East and Coach Gavitt and all the things he did and the people's lives he touched. Such a special man he was.
I mean, 2 blocks away from here. Dave Gavitt Way. I mean, he is honored everywhere you turn in Providence. Another missed free throw for the Friars. And you just think about the unbelievable history of this league. And it starts with Dave, but then you're talking about John Thompson and Louis Carnesecca and a guy you played for who, by the way, Bill Cohen passed a couple years ago as the all-time wins leader at Northeastern.
Yeah. Coach Calhoun will tell you he did it in less time than Bill Cohen. I'm sure he'd be the first to tell you. He got the 250 sooner, but
7-point Friar lead. Cormier off the glass.
Beautiful. Nice shot fake.
He's got 7, the freshman from Milton, Georgia, who they brought in. Bill Cohen says they want him to make an immediate impact. He is.
He absolutely is, especially on this stage, in this building. They've really quieted the student section. It was raucous earlier.
And Cooley wants to call a timeout and set up something here for their last possession. I mean, this is a pretty resilient effort so far for Northeastern. There were a couple of times in this first half where this game could have gotten away.
Well, Providence isn't really doing anything to make Northeastern uncomfortable. You know, they're not jumping into passing lanes. They're not playing overly aggressive in terms of physicality. So with that, Northeastern feels that confidence. They've made a couple of shots. They've gotten the ball in the paint. They're really not being held from doing anything they like doing.
They played so many close games a year ago, 27-6. So many of those games decided by 5 points or fewer. Dramatic capture of the Big East regular season title for the first time. And when you do all that, you get named the Naismith Coach of the Year.
And again, it's about Eddie's culture and the culture here at Providence and the kids that they want in here to not just play tough and physical basketball, but be great men.
Well, he does build that grit in these kids. It doesn't hurt when Al Durham becomes Michael Jordan at the end of every game last year.
I mean, the key is take what you learned from college and use it the rest of your life.
And a turnover out of a timeout when you set up a play.
You want Locke to sneak a little bit higher, make the angle better for Carter to find him on that wing. Stopped a little short.
And it comes with 8 seconds, so that really gives Northeastern a lot of time to make a 5-point game even closer.
And that's one of the few plays we've seen where they weren't on the same page. And that's what happens when you have some new guys.
And they bring it into the front court, and Northeastern will call the timeout to try to set something up for a final shot. I mean, it's just remarkable what they did a season ago. They hung the banner here Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So many close games. And really, I mean, they had a big push in the second half against the eventual national champion, Kansas. That was a real game down to the wire.
And they won it in so many ways. You talk about the close games, and the way you win those close games are with veterans. And Ed said that. I'm playing 6, 7 seniors. I don't care. That's how we're going to win. They won pretty. They won a lot ugly. And when you played against Providence, you knew that's what it was going to be.
And that one was not close. I mean, they blew Creighton out.
Which, that was a tough game, and this was earlier in the week, seeing that banner come down. But that was a tough game for Ed Cooley, too, because he and Greg McDermott are such great friends.
Yeah, that tells a great story over the last 10 seasons where Providence ranks with these heavyweights.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You'd like number 2 to get up to number 1. I know that. 5.5 to go in the half. Cormier, corner. Does Stuka have one more? He does. Wow, Northeastern goes to the locker room with a corner 3 to make it a 2-point game. They are hanging in and then some. We will be back to the arena for stats and analysis after this break. Welcome to the Welcome back to FS2 College Hoops, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one.
How about that? Northeastern finishes the half the right way. Moore, Locke, Hopkins, they got it going a little bit, but the consistency for Providence really a struggle in that first half. Northeastern's got confidence right now, though, Will.
I wouldn't think that coming into this game, we would have said at the half that Stuka and Moore would be the leading scorers.
Yeah, Stuka feeling confident. 3 of 6 from 3. He's got the green light. It's interesting, into that half. Well, they had a foul to give. Eddie's on the side yelling it, and no one heard him. It's just another one of those pieces that you lose when you don't have guys who've been around, but that's basketball.
Well, and you know that end of half sequence drove them absolutely nuts. A turnover and then to give up a 3.
With a foul to give. With once, I mean, that's Just can't happen.
What a dish to Hopkins inside.
That's a great play right there. Broswell back on the bench. Came out, gave Coach Cooley a thumbs up, but more is in the game for him right now.
They really got to get Telford going. A lot of contact, no call, and he lays it in.
Yeah, it's a great play against a great defender. That gives you a little bit of that hope that Telford can step up a little bit. They're in this game, and it's waiting for him to take over on that side.
You can see Crosley on the far side right next to the coaching staff. What a look inside to Carter, but he doesn't have the touch to finish. Northeastern has not led in this game. Almost for Telford. He just has not found it so far tonight.
Yeah, they clear out. Sees the middle, spins, no help from Bynum in that corner, staying home on a shooter. Telford's a terrific scorer. He's just got to be more assertive this half.
And this isn't an end of game situation, but it is one of those moments where you'd like to see Providence find an identity for somebody to make a big shot.
And you want to get the building back involved again. It's really quiet in here.
Another miss. And another chance to tie or go ahead. But no. Woods with a rebound. Stuka in the corner, and the Huskies lead.
You know, the issue with that problem, or with that play there, is the problem started when Bynum missed the layup. He jogged back. You have to sprint back, and now the defense is basically 4 on 5, and you're scrambling to find shooters, and then leave Stuka open in the corner.
That's not the guy you would expect to make that kind of a mistake. Providence has gone cold. Hopkins, did he save it off of Stuka? He did.
I mean, there's the offensive rebound hurts you as well. Bynum's back in the play, but that's just a terrific knockdown shot. But if Bynum runs back and now gets in front of a guy, now you can square guys up, and you're not chasing guys off the three-point line. Coming up short.
Carter trying to create. He is shoved. It seems like Providence has lost track of the corner shooter a few times here tonight.
Well, when you're trying to help in defensively and stop guys in the paint, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have to run out and recover, but there's long distances to have to cover when you have a foot in the paint trying to get to that three-point line closeout.
Tumbles down. Here's more. What a night for him to give Providence the lead back.
Yeah, it's nice to see guys scoring different assortment, but you want to be able to run some stuff and see some offense coming out of your sets.
First fire into double figures. He's got 11. Telford trying to get it going, and an offensive foul.
Yeah, Devin Carter's just so astute when it comes to moving his feet, squaring up, and taking it right in the chest. Knows that Telford is a scorer. And that's an easy call right in front of the official.
They keep track of those things. They reward them. At the end of practice today, Ed Cooley turned to the team and he said, Ed Croswell leads the team in charges taken with 1. And the point was, we need to do more of that, fellas.
There's a lot of pride on the line for these guys, especially a guy like Devin Carter, because he is the best defender by far, one of the best in the country, but especially on this team.
They missed a lot of layups in this half. Troutman for 3.
No, I don't like it. One more swing, you stop, 2-foot jump stop. It was 2-on-1. Stuka in the corner.
He goes tumbling down, and that to me is a rough call on Hopkins. It looked like the feet got tangled up, and they get him for an offensive foul.
That's a tough one there. I don't know if it was a flop or, like you said, it looked like his feet might have gotten tangled up when he fell.
Knee to knee. And McClintock has run the point most of the night. Gotten very little going offensively. The Air Force transfer, and he gives it away. Block. Corner. Too strong. Suddenly a little more pace to this game.
See right here, there's really no resistance by Providence.
That's a heck of a play by Hopkins to bat it off Doherty's leg.
And it shows that athletic ability, the length, creating a turnover.
Try to create some energy as Hopkins. 1 point Friar lead. Surprising in Providence. Welcome back to FS2 College Hoops, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. One is the lead for Providence, and they've had a real hard time, Donnie, defending the corner three.
Yeah, the closeouts have not really been what Ed Cooley would like. Drive and a kick. The problem is when you see the ball being passed, you have to be running out there. You can't wait until the shooter catches it to now close out. Late closeouts on one side, but great passing. 9 assists on 15 made field goals by Northeastern. And there's your guy right there. 14 points, 5 of 10 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3. Great night for Stuka.
Meantime, Providence just 1 of 7 for the last 2 minutes and change, and they need buckets. And the post for Crosley. No. I mean, they cannot buy a bucket. Croswell was in tight there. And maybe a little rust coming off the bench out of the locker room, but they have missed a lot of shots in tight.
When you're the biggest guy on the floor, though, and you're 2 feet away, you just have to jump up. And you really, you know, you don't need all the extra dribbles, 2 or 3 dribbles. Just go straight up. There you go.
There he is. No jump needed. It's first basket, and it's a 3-point lead.
It's just good to see him back on the floor. And the tape's on the left hand, not the shooting hand, most importantly.
Bynum saying he didn't touch that, wanting a backcourt violation, and Ed Cooley is livid on the sideline. This is a really respected, great officiating crew, but Ed doesn't like that call. Well, this building really has become one of the great environments in college hoops. They just not had much to get going on. A nice rejection there. Feels like they're just itching to explode.
It's a hard place to play when the team is playing well. It's not like you show up and, you know, you got to give something to the crowd. You know, they give you something, you get to get to give and take. You know, you're missing layups, you're missing free throws. It's hard for the crowd to stay into it. Real good job of Ed Croswell to come back and take that off the glass.
And that wasn't even a block. It was more like gathering it off the window.
Defensive rebound, yeah.
Bynum to the free throw line.
But it's a weird energy in the building right now. It's a really a good spot for Northeastern. The crowd's not into it. Providence isn't really doing anything to kind of get them. And this is not a jaded building. They could be undefeated and they're still yelling and screaming like they're trying to get their first win. It's just what the building is. It's who the fans are.
Well, I mean, all you have to know about this place is that Taylor Swift became the anthem of the season last year.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the scenes when that song gets going in here, it's become really the anthem of this arena and this program. I think we might be hearing it pretty soon to try to get everybody into it as Bynum pushes the lead to 5.
Between her and Whitney Houston, I never thought about those two as being, you know, an energy generator, but it works in this building.
You belong to me. Who knew? Cormier was really impressive in the first half. Feels like a big spot for Northeastern, trying to go inside to Doherty. Foul going to be called on Croswell. That's his second.
I love how Northeastern's running their stuff, and they're running some really good plays. That's all you can ask for if you're Bill Cohen. Just run our stuff. Good things will come from it. He's done it a few times. He's called a few plays over his career. Sometimes as players, we want to do our own thing. And Look for the option first. You got to run your plays.
Clifton not on the floor right now. Jared Turner checks in. Wood's too strong, and how about that board for Hopkins?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Pass to his shoelaces. That's a hard one to make when you pick it up.
How about breathing transition? 8-0 Fryer run, and Bynum strips it away. This place is going to go crazy. If that goes down, and it does for Locke.
Oh, this is exactly what the fan base was waiting for at the students in there. Locke from the corner. Providence looking for some energy. Up 10. Cover.
Monday, the Big East and Big Ten collide in the annual Gavitt tip-off games as Stad Mata returns to Butler. Back at his alma mater in a clash against Penn State. 8:30 Eastern, only on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. There are some great games in that slate.
Hey, the one that I'm looking most forward to is that Wednesday, Iowa Seton Hall. People would ask, well, why? Well, because I'm calling that game, so that's why I'm looking most forward to it.
Well, that means the country is too, by the way.
Yeah,
You can hear Taylor Swift is jamming in here. They really go crazy in this building when that song comes on, and here they go. 10-point lead, and the crowd officially is into it.
Northeastern, how do you respond? Taking care of the ball, one, continue to run your stuff.
No good for Doherty.
I think you had to get something that wasn't a one-on-one situation. You can get that shot with someone in your face anytime in the game, but out of a timeout, you want to run and try to get something at the rim, especially down 10.
That's surprising. Stuka's still on the bench.
Yeah.
The amp has come to life, as they call this building now. Bynum.
Oh, that's a tough one. 1 second on the shot clock. It's such a nice job defensively. Continue to stay. Who's that reaching in there? Is that Troutman? You got to get in there. There's 1 second. You can look at the other end at the shot clock. You reach in. That's an easy foul call for the official.
Already their 14th foul with the offhand. Bynum.
Love those kind of quick hitters, out of bounds plays.
That's Providence's largest lead. Almost turned them over again. Bynum's got 9. This feels so much like Tuesday night. Fournier fouled by Bynum, where Ryder out to a big lead in the first half, but with plays like this from Bynum, they've re-energized this team and this building.
Beautiful dribble handoff. Little hesitation, no help, finishes with that offhand. Look at that. He's looking for the foul as well. A little body in there.
Well, that's what he does so well, isn't it? Just create going to the basket.
Yeah, gets into your body, finds ways to score. And Bynum has a tough job ahead of him. You know, he's one of only a couple of guys back from a team that had a ton of success. Expectations never go away no matter how many players leave. And he's at the helm, extension of Ed Cooley over there. You want to go out the right way when you're one of those upperclassmen as well.
Part of that magical run a year ago, and they don't want to stop now. I mean, people around the country might think Providence is a year away. That's some great handle from Bynum. He finds Croswell.
Bynum took a hit as he passed that off too, but great job of Ed Croswell having those hands ready. That shows you that's a sign of guys having played together a few times.
Providence picked 5th in the preseason Big East poll, but they've got pieces that make you think that might be a little conservative. And They're going to call a goaltend. Bynum's got 6 assists.
Their 1-2 punch. Bynum, Croswell gets in the teeth of the defense, draws, attracts, and finds his big fella for the nice soft finish.
Providence trying to pull away, stretching it out to an 11-point lead, under 12 to go in the game, and this is a big spot, young team. Bill Cohen trying to get his team together for one last push.
We need stops. All right, so everybody's got to sit down and concentrate. We need good ball screen defense, no hesitation, hands back, chest blocks when the ball's threatening the paint. All right, we got to match their physicality. Everybody's got to rebound. We got to run and run smart. All right, push the tempo, see what you got. All right, and get some pace to our offense.
And it's spoken like a coach who understands. Now we're down 11, and this is where Providence is going to try to bully us to try to extend that lead. So match their physicality, but continue to run your stuff. Run the floor, push. But this is the end where they have to stay aggressive.
The team that's going to test themselves, Northeastern. I mean, they're going to be at Syracuse. They're playing Georgia Tech. You're right. Providence feels like it's ready to impose its will, but that is a rejection from the guy with a 7'5" wingspan, Colin Metcalf, but they give it right back.
Turnovers are such a killer on the road. Do a great job getting a stop. And look at that. 5-point play. Could have been a 6-point play. Essentially, but that's what happens. You turn it over, pick 6 going the other way.
He's got 13. This building finally arrived. I mean, these kids were here at 4 o'clock this afternoon, ready to get loud on a Saturday night. Finally, reason to scream. Telford has really been limited, and that is nowhere near close for Stuka, who had a long spell on the bench.
That's tough coming back in. You getting cold. It's cold in this building, as we've already talked about. It's hard. Especially you guys got it going, and you're chomping at the bit to get back in because you know you got a little bit of a game going.
We heard what Bill Cohen said about the defensive focus needed. What a pass to Moore.
It's such a great pass because as a guard, you're taught to throw that thing right off the defender's ear. It's hard to stop it there. And you throw that thing almost like it's hitting him, but over his shoulder and off of his ear.
Fournier answers. That feels like a big-time bucket.
That was huge. Alleviate a little bit of some pressure here. But this is the end where you have to do the job and put those plays together.
Hopkins. That's just way too much for Stuka.
No contest. And it happened so fast. Wasn't an opportunity for another defender to come over and help.
I mean, I know it's early in the year. This is just the second game. But, Johnny, what is it about Providence in these second halves? They really do turn it on offensively.
Yeah, I think it's more they impose their will. They don't try to shoot as many jump shots. And get the ball inside. Wow, talk about a shooter's bounce.
Touch the entire rim before going down. And a 12-point game.
And Ed Cooley says, you know what? I'm going to make sure I have more hands-on offensive sets here. They're taking more time off the clock. Running some pretty good stuff. I like that shot by Locke.
He's been hot. Ejection from behind. I think Bynum got the 6'8" big man, and now he responds with a 3 in transition. He's got 12, and the lead is 15. They picked it up on that end, too.
Yeah, it's just an off-balance shot in the paint against Moore, just not going to get it done.
are about to blow the top off this, although Moore with authority. Hello, Clifton Moore. That's why you pass up the open three.
And how about Providence doing it inside, doing it outside, and just when you think you got everything covered, Clifton Moore emphatically with the finish.
Providence making a statement in the second half. They lead by 17 over Northeastern. Our veterans deserve to live with dignity and independence, not on the streets. That's why we at Fox Sports are making camo our cause this Veterans Day in support of the Honor U.S. Vets campaign. Post wearing your camo on social with hashtag HonorUSVets and visit usvets.org/FoxForward to donate and learn how you can help end veteran homelessness. And Donnie, we get to talk about college basketball for a living, come into buildings like this, and it is not lost this week as we celebrate Veterans Day, the sacrifices that so many make to allow us to sit here and do this. Huskies going to shoot free throws out of the break.
Well, this is the guy that 7:55 to play needs to get it going. Jamil Telfort, 4 points, 2 of 10. Has not made a three. And he's more than capable of putting this team on his back and trying to cut into this 17-point lead.
He's a freshman All-American. He led the team in scoring a year ago. And for a team that is welcoming so many young new faces, he's got to stand up in the same way that Bynum has in this second half for Providence.
Well, he needs to lead not only with his voice, but with his play. This last 8 minutes or so.
Full court man-to-man look for the Huskies. Easily broken by Bynum. Look into the corner for Locke. Rims out. I like the look of this Chase Cormier. Athletic in transition.
Yeah, speed, vision. It's going to be a good one. How about that pass? That's what you have to do. Move without the ball. We talked about this in the first half. For Northeastern, moving without the ball, making the extra pass. So important when you're playing against a bigger, stronger team.
This spurt for Providence has come without Devin Carter, mostly without Croswell. They're both set to check in under 7 minutes to go. I think they're going to get a kick ball there. Locke was trying to find more under the bucket.
And Telfort draws so much attention. A couple guys come, you know someone's going to be open. Moore goes to help, and that's just a beautiful pass. Nice drop off with Doherty underneath.
So Croswell and Carter in. Right off the bench. He finds pay dirt.
And that's a veteran right there. He doesn't want to get hurt. The two guys in the air jumping into him, creating a contact. So he goes reverse and gets the bucket.
Bad shot for Cormier. This thing is teetering for Northeastern. Ed Cooley, in his time here at Providence, out of conference in this building, they are 80-5. Find number 81, and that will do.
It's a really nice two-man game at the top. Stop behind your big fella and knock it down. It's just one of those pieces of Providence and their system that they're going to have to figure out how to consistently make shots from behind the arc. They're going to be fine in transition. They're going to grind a lot of those buckets out of their transition. They have bigs down low. but how can you consistently find guys who can knock down shots from three?
Rock has done some of that here tonight, and I think that is the #1 question for this team. It is so hard in today's college basketball to do it without consistently hitting a bunch of threes. I think that's why they play so many close games. This one not so close anymore. A 16-point lead, 4 Friars in double figures. Hopkins, by the way, now is a double-double with 10 and 10. Bynum really asserting himself down the lane.
I mean, he knew exactly what was happening, and Bynum a little taunting there. Gonna get a technical for that.
He's feeling himself in the second half, isn't he? 17 points. And Ed Cooley does not like the call.
Ed's trying to find out what is being said in here, and I think he's just a little taunting, that's all.
Magic word.
Easy one.
And I think, obviously, Ed Cooley, who is such a leader of these young men, he's not thrilled with the jawing or the call, but on some level, Donnie, don't you think, watching his real veteran leader take over this game and show a little emotion, he can live with that?
Yeah, without question. And that's not who Bynum is night in and night out. And Jeffrey Anderson doing a great job, our official, talking to him. You know, in the last, I would say, 10, 12 years, officials have really done a nice job of understanding that they're also teaching these young men. It's not just blow a whistle, go away. It's let me explain why I made that call. And now it's not going to happen every single play, but we have some wonderful refs in college basketball and who have an understanding that they are a part of the success of college basketball, not just the players and coaches.
I think this has been a wonderfully officiated game. Nice move there.
These games are hard early. Think about it. The officials, these are early games in the season for our officials too. You know, they're not going out to the playgrounds and officiating games, you know, like the players can go play. They're probably watching some film, but I agree. Had a great crew. Great job communicating and letting guys play as well. But this is wonderful footwork, spins, might have gotten away with the travel there. It's always good footwork when you can travel and make a bucket. You got to keep that foot on the ground, but maybe you don't if they score.
Bynum's even talking to the fans here. Another good feed. Croswell can't quite finish. A lot of bumping underneath, and they're going to get a foul on the floor.
There's been some good sportsmanship, too. Croswell's hit the ground a couple times. Doherty's helped him up twice now.
This time of the year, we know so little about what's going to happen in this league, in the country. I mean, Gonzaga comes back on the aircraft carrier for the win last night. Louisville has already dropped a couple of games. I mean, there's just, with all of the turnover in our game, it's so hard to know where we'll be in March here in the middle of this month of November.
Yeah, you're so right. You know, we keep track of how conferences are doing early on, and Big East off to a wonderful start.
How about Bynum?
Villanova, the only team losing thus far out of the Big East team's early season. It's a shocker to Temple.
They stormed the floor twice in that game last night.
Interesting. Storm the floor. No, we're not done. One off. Now we're done? Okay, back on the floor.
I'm sure Kyle Neptune's going to do a great job, but I mean, man, it is hard to replace Jerry Wright.
Hard being the guy after the guy. It's so hard.
They're not healthy either. I mean, they got a lot of missing pieces.
True.
Upward has really been much better in this half. That was a little wild. So under 4 to go. 17-point lead for Providence. And it's been this man, Jared Bynum, to really lead the charge.
Yeah, in the first half, it seemed to me like he was letting guys kind of do their thing, feeling his way through it, letting other teammates find their way, and then Getting to the second half, he's like, all right, we got to start pulling away here. Let me take over, and he did that.
Whistle before the shot went up. Providence is having fun in their gym. 17-point lead. Welcome back to FS2 College Hoops, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one 17-point lead for Providence, and a lot of the damage has come in the paint.
Yeah, I like the way that the Friars have done it as well. They've done it in tight quarters. They've done it with space here. It's leave your big man down low. In that case, it's Hopkins. And then Moore putting it on the floor and finding his own finish. But they've done it in so many ways. Sometimes in these games, there's an arrogance of power, meaning you think you can do anything because you're a bigger, stronger team. And I think Providence learned early in this game that, you know, we have to appreciate where we are and respect Northeastern, because they did put up an awesome fight.
They found their groove, that's for sure, and they are breathing a little easier. The Croswell's been able to come back in this game after a little scare on his left hand. Front end of the one-and-one goes down. You and I both been to so many practices. I mean, God knows you participated in thousands of them. One thing I'm always struck by watching Providence and Ed Cooley, it is not easy to get in the morning before a game a group of 18 to 20-year-olds to lock in and pay attention while going through a lot of detailed stuff. I think Ed Cooley does that better than anybody. Guys are focused and into the real small details as Providence is on the break, and Bynum's great half continues.
It's just Ed's energy. You know, there's not a lot of, if you've been to any of his practice, there's not a lot of standing around.
No.
He keeps guys moving, whether it's free throw line, all right, we're going to do a defensive drill, all right, go get water. Sometimes you get into these practices, there's a lot of standing around, and guys just, listen, you have to understand what you're dealing with. Like you said, 18, 19-year-olds, we got to, when most of them want to, it's hard for them to not be on their cell phones for 2 hours in practice. You got to keep their minds working, and you're right, Ed's one of the best in America to really grab his guys and keep them focused.
He's got 21 points and 9 assists, and I think they're going to get locked there from moving, trying to set Bynum free.
Yeah, that's an easy one. He just turned into it after the handoff.
He's going to get some youth onto the floor. Floyd and Castro locked to the bench with Croswell. He made that point. He said, fellas, when we get to the gym tonight, I don't want to see cell phones. I don't want to see anybody losing focus. We got to be ready for this team tonight. And beginning of a long, long journey they hope once again ends in the second weekend in March. I think that's one of the real questions. I mean, it was such a breakthrough for Providence last year to get to that Sweet 16, to really battle with Kansas after so many near misses with great talent here with Ed Cooley. And they're hoping that that sets kind of a new watermark, that becomes the expectation for this program.
I mean, that really is what makes programs great, getting there year after year after year. Not that you have to get to the Final Four every year, but you get in, you win a couple of games in the tournament. It really shows how consistent not just the coaching is, but again, we talk about the C word, culture. It's easier to get guys to play for you when you have that great culture of winning.
Stuka denies Hopkins. And he really recruits high character people. Carter's made a real impact, and he throws it down.
I love this kid. You know, I call him, he's an off-schedule player. Meaning you can run stuff for him, or you don't have to. He's always going to give you something no matter where he is on the floor. Love off-schedule players.
Doesn't it feel like Providence has one or two of those guys every year? You don't need to throw stuff. Speaking of throwing it up and down for Carter. I don't know whether that was on schedule, off schedule, but it was spectacular.
And then got back to contest the three. I mean, I love this kid. Boy, Devin Carter he's exactly what every team wants. An energy guy with tremendous athleticism. You know how hard that dunk is to catch it, to be turning and catch it and finish with a reverse. After, by the way, you just stole one and went pick six. length of the floor.
Doesn't it feel like the personality of the player matches the personality of the program?
It really does, and it's so much harder to find that guy when they've been with another school. But again, it just kind of shows you the parallels between, you know, a South Carolina, a Frank Martin, and a Ed Cooley. And what kind of kids they recruit, and that's what you look for. You look for coaches who recruit the same as you do and have some of that same personality, and that's what you got from this kid right here, Devin Carr. I'm telling you, I'd be hard-pressed to find another guy that I like as much as Devin Carter right now this time of the season.
He gets a nice hand going off, and Luke Funtz comes on to a nice round here. Minute to go, 84-62. Providence has turned it on and then some in this second half. Jaden Pierre, good dish to yet another freshman, Rafael Castro. Tall and lean, he'll go to the line. Providence will have Ed Cooley's alma mater next. They got Stonehill. Meantime, Northeastern home for Harvard. But then, as we said, London for Thanksgiving. They got Syracuse. They got Georgia Tech. And for this young team for Northeastern, they got to find some answers here in the short term before they get into league play.
Yeah, Stonehill got their first Division I win. Army, they're but had saw some pictures of Ed Cooley and some action pictures when he was at Stonehill. Looks exactly the same.
I'm sure.
Exactly the same. How is that possible? At least the pictures we saw, he looked the same.
You haven't aged a day, Castro. I mean, now they're just having fun as Ed Cooley's going to empty the bench with Kieran O'Hare. I mean, Providence started this half 1 for 7, and in the second half they're shooting nearly 60%.
It just shows you, though, if you can make a couple of threes, how much that opens up the interior for you. Whether it's off the dribble or just simple pass from the wing inside, you have to, and you talked about this earlier, it's the way college basketball is today. You have to have guys who can knock down long-range shots.
Corey Floyd does. UConn transfer. Last trip coming up for Northeastern. They hit some shots from long range, and boy, did they attack the rim. Shot King says no. And for the second time in as many nights, Providence a slow start, but what a finish. And they end up rolling here to win for the second time. 89-65, and that was a lot like Tuesday night, Donnie. Some great signs for Providence, and boy, did they close strong.
Yeah, whatever Ed Cooley's talking about at halftime, it's becoming a thing of legend. Because 2 games in a row, his team has answered the bell. They've come out, they played more aggressive. They played, I think, more together. And in turn, that helped them make more shots. The offense was flowing. Their defense picked up. You know, all these things obviously are ingredients